Hey, good people. Thank you for joining the Good Matchmaker review. Today, we will discuss the episode entitled Woman Suffers from Death and Divorce. Sit back and relax as we dig deep into this storyline. Wow.
Yeah.
I know. So we're going to get into it a little bit. Our main characters here, because you guys just watched it, John and Lisa.
Lisa, yes.
And they lose their child.
Right.
John purchased him a sports car, which, I mean, any child would want a sports car.
Right.
And Lisa didn't want him to. And then he has a tragic accident in that sports car.
Yeah.
So grief can really hurt a relationship.
Yeah, it really can. And then, I think that there are more cases than we probably are aware of where situations like what Lisa and John went through happens, because sometimes it's easier for someone to cope with a loss if they have someone to blame. And so I think that was just one of the ways that Lisa initially dealt with the loss of their son, was to blame her husband for buying the car when it really wasn't his fault, but people grieve different ways.
Yeah. I do like that he was patient and kind with her, and he didn't want the divorce, but
right.
I respect that he gave her the freedom that she needed.
Yeah. I mean, that's good, but I also think that sometimes that's an easy way out, because even though I'm sure it was difficult for him to deal with it in the present moment, but if he would have sought other options than just trying to console her and him giving her space, maybe a therapist or someone that they could have went and seen or talked to, then that could have been another option. But of course, that wasn't.
Well, what do you do when a person, it was obvious she had made up her mind that she was done and she wanted out. So what do you do when someone wants a divorce? And we didn't see him asking her to go to counseling, but he mentioned that we need help.
Okay,
but she wasn't willing to, take that help. What do you do when one person wants out and the other one really doesn't want to leave?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I'm glad you pointed it out. I think that most of the times when people are at that crossroad, of course, you can't force a person to stay with you. And he did right in that instance of stepping back. And I'm sure Lisa wasn't aware of what route their lives would take after that.
Yeah.
But we know that they ended up getting back together. So that time did give her time to reflect.
Yeah.
And think about how good of a husband and father he really was. But to answer your question, I think that there is nothing you can do after you've done everything you can do, and they still want out.
I believe that true love will always win in the end. It may take time. It may you may have to allow space, and you may have to allow time to run its course. But true love, I believe, will win in the end.
Yeah. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. And
I think, and if you work hard, you work at it. I think he gave her that space, and he even said that he was hoping that one day she would, she would come back to him. But let's get into what happened while they were apart, because I think when you said that she realized she had an opportunity to reflect.
Right.
Well, Brian, the guy she starts dating, appears to be a nice guy, but Brian is a control fanatic.
Yeah, he was overboard with it. The clothes that she was wearing,
the food that she was ordering.
Yeah, and even I think she wanted to watch a show at one point, and he was like, "No, we're going to watch this cooking show."
Yeah, because that's what he wanted to watch.
Right, and she was already set on them watching The Good Matchmaker.
How do you even deal with people who are like that, controlling like that? Because the reason I put that out there, she said to her friend Claire, if I could just get him to see himself, then he wouldn't be like this. Well, I totally disagree, because I don't think he would. She thought maybe it would wake him up. I don't think that would do anything for him, because that is who he is.
I would think the same thing, that you deal with it as much as you can, but when you can't find a solution to it, then I think you have to do like her friend said, run.
No, Claire said run.
Get away. Yeah.
People don't like to take a look in the mirror. I would say.
Right, and see those different sides of themselves that other people see that they may not see.
Mm-hmm. That looking in that mirror is tough, because looking in the mirror is when change comes.
Yeah.
I think that's a tough time for people to look and know that it's me that needs to change. Because
we don't look at ourselves. We're always looking at other people. But when we take that look in the mirror and we are really honest with ourselves, we don't like to see it. Honestly, we don't like to see those things. But it takes getting to a place where you can be honest with yourself or trust the information that other people who have your best interests at heart tell you.
And I don't think in that situation Brian would have listened to Lisa.
No.
I don't. I think that was an extreme case.
Even to the end. Like, who is this? You never told me about him. Like, he wanted to be controlling over every area and aspect of her life. So
and
that's dangerous.
I think it's interesting that she didn't tell him about her.
I believe that she was protecting that relationship, because she knew if she would have brought him into the picture, then not only would it have caused problems with her in that new relationship, but it could have jeopardized her chances of getting back with her husband.
Yeah, and I do think, like, when she was talking with Claire, even in that moment, she was wishful.
Oh yeah, definitely.
She tried to hide it from her friend because, you know, she had heard a rumor that he had moved on,
right,
and he was dating someone else, and that turns out that he was, but it wasn't anything.
Right, she didn't know how serious it was.
Yeah, she didn't know.
And then she had her own troubles with dealing with Brian. So
she had met him and she was hopeful about Brian. Of course, I think that she wanted to be back with him. That was apparent, because at the end,
right,
I mean, it took her all of 20 seconds to think about it. It was like, wait a minute.
You're right.
I'm not going to let this go.
I think she knew what she wanted, but the opportunity had to present itself for her to be able to, to go back that way. Yeah.
And just thinking about Brian for one moment, sometimes I think it can be unsafe dealing with someone like that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because I think it rolls from control to either it could be mental abuse or physical abuse. You have to be very careful with someone like that. Yeah. And so what I thought about is when with Brian, he was like, "Get back here," that even when she came out in the dress and he said, "I don't like that color on you. We have to find you a new color."
Right.
Who would speak to someone in that manner?
Yeah.
So I was a little afraid for her at times with him.
To be honest with you, I could see, I watch a lot of those For My Man, Fatal Attraction, and those type of crime stories, and he fit the profile, of every guy that has ever been on those shows. It comes down to that controlling factor, and then the abuse also that goes along with it.
All right. Well, one thing I wanted to say, it's always good to have a friend to talk to. Although I don't think she was as open with Claire, but I thought it was great that she had her to talk to.
Yeah, that's always good, because it helps you not only see things from a different perspective, but also helps you to be able to hear yourself and see yourself when you're talking to someone else. I often say that we don't really need a lot of advice from other people. We just need to hear them say what we're already thinking.
Yeah. See, Claire reminded her of how good her marriage was with John, and she needed to hear that.
That's right.
Thank you for watching the Good Matchmaker review. Please like, subscribe, and share this video, and don't forget to comment below. Remember, with every story, we're inspiring healthy relationships.